Hi, I'm Michaela with Econoful. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial of our lesson 2.1, Coffee Market Simulation. It's the first lesson in our microeconomics unit, designed for an on-level high school economics classroom. The slides I'm showing you today are mostly found in the lesson plan with a few additional slides thrown in just for your information. So the learning objective is students will be able to explain how the price of a good is determined in a market. It's designed for a 45-minute class. We've got an activator introduction, the market simulation, and then a debrief, summarizer, and reflection. Today, I'm just going to go over the market simulation because that's the part that might be a little bit tricky to understand. So the class is going to be divided half buyers, half sellers. The goal of buyers is to purchase coffee at the lowest price possible, and of sellers is to sell coffee at the highest price possible. Buyers are going to get a buyer card like the one shown on the left. This one, for example, says you want to buy 1 pound of coffee. You are willing and able to pay $1.90 for the pound of coffee. Sellers, this card shows that it costs them $1.90 to produce the pound of coffee, so they want to sell it for the highest price they can. All the cards have a different price. So they're going to be wandering around the room trying to make transactions. The negotiated price must end in a 0. We have the example here, 220 is fine, 219, 218, etc. We're not going to do. So we're going to distribute the cards. The rounds are going to be 4 minutes long. We've got some pictures of the simulation in action here as 2 students negotiating, trying to make the best deal they can. After they make a transaction, students will have this score sheet to record the price on the card and the negotiated price. Then they're going to exchange for a new card. It's helpful here to have a student volunteer who can help exchange the buyer cards. The teacher really should be the one to do the seller cards because they're going to have an extra step where they're going to record that negotiated price. So this is a spreadsheet that's in the slideshow that you can edit and use to track the transactions in round 1, for example, using the 1s for tally marks. At the end of the 4-minute round, you'll set a timer, of course, and announce that when the round starts and then when the round ends. Anyone who's just made a transaction can go ahead and record that and trade in their card. Everyone else will just sit down with the cards that they are left with, and we'll give them 2 minutes to calculate their gain or loss on the spreadsheet. Then we're going to draw the attention back to this classroom tracking sheet so they'll have more information when they negotiate as they move into round 2. This process will be repeated for round 2, and then decide if there's time for round 3. Probably just 2 rounds for a 45-minute class. If you have a longer class, you could do 3 rounds, but we need to make sure to save 22 minutes for the debrief and reflection at the end. So after the simulation, students will add up their points and determine the class winner, whoever had the highest gains, and recognize them with a round of applause. Then we'll move into a discussion with the debrief questions, the summarizer, and reflection, which is going to drive home the objective, which is explain how the price of a good is determined in a market. That concludes my review of the simulation. You can stay on if you'd like. I'll quickly go over the materials needed for this lesson. We've got a student handout. These are 1 per student. Notes on the front, the score sheet on the back. If you're going to use Econoful's Unit 2, this is a good time to hand out the overview. On a different color is sometimes nice, just so they can find it throughout the unit. These are the buyer and seller cards. On cardstock, 2 different colors is nice here. It took me around 8 minutes to cut these out. I didn't do a perfect job. I left the margins on here, but still totally fine. And the debrief questions can also be used for the whole class because that's just discussion prompts. They don't need to write on those. And then there's 2 pieces of paper you just need for your reference, the coffee market supply and demand schedules and the suggested responses. That's it for the materials. I'm just going to end here. So if you want to pause and read some feedback we've gotten on this lesson, you can do so. And I hope this was helpful. Please reach out if you have any questions.